Morning you guys, so here we are in another setup. I've just painted those two walls and we'll see how the lighting goes today. There is some studio lights on because without any lights it would just be too dark in here. This is at the back of the flat where there isn't any light until the afternoon, so there's a little bit coming from the window and hopefully that will help things, but yeah, we'll see. So today I am talking about Bakuchiol. I know that I am overdue this, but I wanted to finish up the products that I was using and then compare photos and see if there was any difference. So for those of you that don't know, I looked into Bakuchiol as an ingredient, did an ingredient spotlight video on it, and found that it did have some evidence showing that it was as good as retinol. So I thought I would use it for 6 months, make sure I used it every day, and then compare before and after photos. So I used different types of Bakuchiol. I didn't use the same one all the way through, but I used it at least once a day. Some days I used it twice a day. Sometimes I used 2 products in one. So the products I used, I started with the Dr. Sam night serum. That one I continued on using, but I used it every other night because it's also got azelaic acid in it, and that was kind of irritating my skin, so I couldn't use that every day even once my skin got used to it. But on the other days I used the Revolution Bakuchiol, and I bought that one I think 3 times, possibly 4. Really enjoyed that one. And then I also used the BYBI Bakuchiol Serum Bakuchiol in Squalane, and I loved that one as well. So occasionally, once I'd finished the Dr. Sam one, I would use the Bakuchiol Serum from the Revolution with the BYBI Bakuchiol on top with a Squalane in it. So a bit of a varying schedule, but I just made sure that I always used Bakuchiol at least once every day in the 6 months that I was testing it. I have now finished those products, haven't used them for a couple of weeks, but I did take pictures on the day that I stopped using them, and I tried to look at the pictures I'd taken 6 months ago and take it in a kind of similar light with, I made sure I'm not smiling so that we can see any kind of expression lines that are left when I'm not, because if I'm smiling there's a lot more expression lines obviously. And I'll put the picture on screen now. I personally can't see any difference whatsoever. I was putting it up to and under my eyebrow and under my eyes. I can't see any difference in my eyes. I can't see any difference in crow's feet. I can't see any difference in, even there's a tiny little nose to mouth line, that hasn't changed at all. I can't see any difference in pore size. I could see actually that, I don't know whether it was because I'd self-tanned, because sometimes that does make my freckles show more, but there was one little freckle that could well be an age spot that looked a little bit more obvious in the second picture. But like I said, I can't see any difference at all in the second picture, and even in terms of skin texture, or the only differences between the pictures is maybe slightly in colour, because like I said, I think I maybe had the remnants of a self-tan on in the second one, but I maybe was further along in not self-tanning in the first one. That's not something I record, if you see what I mean. I probably should, like, you know, take it on the first day of a tan or whatever, but that's the only differences between the pictures. So from memory, when I did the ingredient spotlight on Bakuchiol, you were supposed to see differences in a lot less than 6 months. The studies were done, I think, on a couple of months. I'm not too surprised that there aren't any differences between the photos and that I can't see any benefit to my skin. I don't feel any benefit either, by the way. You know, it's not something where I can't see anything, but I feel my skin is in any better condition than it was then. But I'm not surprised, because to me the only ones with the real evidence behind them are retinoids, so tretinoin, retinol, etc., for anti-aging, so to help reduce or reverse signs of aging on your face, and some protection factors. Some protection is really protective or preventative, you know, you put it on to prevent new damage, but really apart from those two there isn't much with overwhelming evidence, and so Bakuchiol had some evidence. It had a couple of studies, and they were in less than 6 months. You know, they saw results in less than 6 months, so I think that this is a fair amount of time. I do these longer term tests on myself when a product looks like it's got some evidence behind it. So I could do this with the copper amino isolate serum, because I did one for 6 weeks, because a lot of the research had seen differences in skin within 2 to 3 weeks. So I normally follow what the research is doing and try to extend it a little bit so that in case it takes my skin longer than the people that were in the research study, just to make sure we've covered everything. And so I did a 6 weeks test with a copper amino isolate serum, and with a copper amino isolate lipid, I'm just going to use up that tube. But there was a comment, and there's always comments actually saying I don't use skincare for long enough to see if it has any benefit. That's probably true, but there are quite a few different reasons why I don't. Number one, I enjoy skincare and I enjoyed trying different types of skincare and different ingredients and seeing what they are like and new products. And if I didn't do that, if I just stuck to, you know, 1 or 2 ingredients for a year, I wouldn't be experiencing all the new things, and you know, that it's my hobby. So I am going to be varying what skincare I use. And actually I also believe that varying the ingredients you give to your skin is a good thing. You know, I think it's kind of hedging your bets in a way. The other thing is I'm on YouTube talking about these new products, and so that does come into it, you know. But also the products that I tend to do the longer term studies on are the ones with evidence. I don't see any evidence for aging in copper, and so I'm not going to waste 6 months using something that the only small amount of research that there is shows that it works in a couple of weeks. It's an expensive thing to use. Although I might well buy the copper amino isolate serum and add that to other skincare that I'm using and see how I get on with that, you know, because I know that it's wound healing and I know that it's anti-inflammatory, so that's definitely a good thing for the skin. But I think for me to test out the copper amino isolate serum fully, I would need to use it for 6 months to 1 year. So, or the lipids say. I'm never going to wait that long to do a video for you guys. And I'm probably not going to just use that product, because I think, again, if you're using something, you need to, like, there's no point me using Bakuchiol and also using a retinol product, because then we wouldn't know which one was effective. And so really, to test things properly, I should be just using that and not much else, you know, no other actives really. I wouldn't mind now actually testing vitamin C, because although vitamin C doesn't have enough evidence for me to feel it will make a massive difference to my skin, I have actually seen differences with vitamin C when I use it. So that one would be really interesting. But like I said, really to test it, I'd have to use it in the absence of anything else, any other actives, or be using the same, you know, have been using the same routine and then just add in vitamin C and see what the differences are. So I'll have a think about that anyway, because like I said, I'm really enjoying the Hylamide vitamin C and feeling differences with that as I did with the ordinary vitamin C. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do going forward in terms of what I'm going to use on my face that's anti-aging. I do have different, and I would really like to use that and see, you know, do a 6 months using that and see what the differences are before and after. But I'm not going to just use that for 6 months. I've got a product coming that has retinol in it. It's an ingredient that I believe in. It just irritates my skin, but I want to give, I know I swore off retinol, but I want to give this product a try and see if it's any good. And if it doesn't irritate my skin, that would be great. That might be something I would trial. And what was the other one? Oh, like I said, I might get the copper amino isolate serum and add that to, say, a night cream or something like that. Once I've figured out what I'm doing, I'll need to come and do a skincare routine for you. And I'll try and do a routine that isn't too product based. I think I did that before, so I'll tell you that I'm using, say, a hyaluronic acid and show you the product I'm using at the time, but that is likely to change. I mean, that's the other thing that was saying, that I don't try products for long enough. I often use the same ingredients, so I've been using niacin, vitamin C for quite some time. It's just that I've tried different versions of them. Anyway, I hope that this was useful to you. I know that everybody was waiting for me to tell you if I'd seen any results. It'll be interesting to see if you can see anything, because certainly when I did the before and after my eye surgery, a lot of you picked up on the fact that there wasn't a crease at the corner of my eye, and I've stared at these photos and I can't see any difference, but maybe you'll see something, so that'll be interesting. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've had results with Bakuchiol, because our skin is all very different. In a way, you know, you can't just do a review like this and use it as a barometer, because Retinoid doesn't work for me. It made my eyes worse, whereas for lots of people it's actually been the solution to their hooded eyes. So I would say, you know, watch a lot of different videos and take a lot of different opinions. So if you guys have found that it's worked for you and it's transformed your skin, I would love to hear about it in the comments. So thanks so much for watching. Oh, I need to tell you my makeup, don't I? I have got on the Laura Mercier foundation, but it's the original one, not the luminous one. I had the luminous one on in the last video and I thought I just looked ridiculously shiny. It didn't look good at all, or I didn't like it anyway. On my eyes is the Kat Von D. I showed you in my empties. It's called Crystal Rose and it's a kind of creamy foil shadow. It's new out and I had used it once. I think I'd used it twice and it was really hard to use. I showed it in the empties and I was like, oh, but it's just so gorgeous. I want to try it again. So I used it this morning. It really is hard work to get on. So I don't know that it's worth the amount of hard work in that it crumbles and you get glitter all over your face. So really the only way to do it is to do your eyes first. And you know, that way you can never get glitter properly off your face. So I don't know. Anyway, that's what I'm wearing. On my cheeks is Nars blush and Sin. On my lips is Stila liquid lipstick and Caramello, and that's everything. Thank you so much for watching and I'll speak to you again soon.